It's time for
DodgerHeads. What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Medium Large Sports Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined tonight by Anthony Witrado, Matthew Moreno, going to be stopping in shortly as well here for a All-Star Game edition, little All-Star break edition of DodgerHeads. Of course, the game still going on as it currently stands. The National League might actually win this thing for a change, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm just glad it is not linked to the home field advantage in the World Series anymore. When I was as a national writer, that was the thing. And 1 year, Melky Cabrera won it for the National League, and so the Giants had home field. I think that was the 2012 series, and it was also the same year he got busted for PEDs.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Look, this is entertainment. Like, I've long had that viewpoint, and I'm all for honoring guys and the Zach McKinstries of the world getting a chance to be there. But also, like, Jake Mizorowski from the Brewers just pitched, and I know he's only thrown 5 times. And you know what I did when he pitched? I sat up a little bit and I engaged a little because I wanted to see him throw 102 miles an hour. So, like, I understand that he didn't deserve it stuff, but at the same time, I cared way more about seeing him pitch than Morahone or, some of these other guys that have gone out there.
Oh, absolutely. I was a little late joining you on here before we got going because I was trying to finish off that inning with him. I was in the other room. So I totally understand it. Like, you want to see these guys. And I remember, I tweeted this out earlier, but in 2013, I think the Dodgers called up Yasiel Puig in May. And then he just went on an absolute tear. It was Puig mania. The entire league was sort of enthralled with him. They were sending national writers to Los Angeles to do stories on him. And they did not put him in the All-Star game that year. And I thought that was a massive mistake because he had captured the league by storm. As a new guy, he had a really interesting story. And he was just, incredibly entertaining to watch. It eventually became frustrating, but in those first 2 months, and basically for that whole rookie season, he was a nonstop highlight reel. And so, Major League Baseball has consistently missed out on these opportunities, but I think they're getting better with it when it comes to things like the Legends picks, and then reading the room correctly with the guy like Mizorowski and putting him in here.
Totally. And even, I didn't realize at the time, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto was basically a commissioner's pick, not to say that he didn't deserve it, but he was there was another side door that Yamamoto made it in through, again, because they realized how big of an audience they have in a place like Japan. And for him to be a part of this is a big deal. And the other thing with Mizorowski, we won't belabor this point, but he was like a replacement of a replacement. And so I understand there are guys out there who are better, but like, it's not like he got in the first time. Like the other guys, a couple of the Phillies guys were pissed they didn't make it. But they would have been like the 19th pitcher selected because so many guys opted out of this. So at that point, I'm like, put the guy in there that's throwing 102, that's exciting, that's getting people excited. And again, gets people like me to tune into the 8th inning of the All-Star game.
Exactly. And like you said, the casual fan and probably even the diehard fans like us were more excited to see him throw this inning than we were any of the 4 previous guys that, that followed him, so, totally. I'm totally fine with these kinds of things because what it is it's a aside from it being, a fun exhibition, is it's also a chance for you to showcase your game. So the Yamamoto pick, which was dumb because he should have been in on his merits alone, and the Mizorowski pick, I thought were celebrating exactly what the game is about.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, with right on cue, Matthew Moreno is here hopping in. Matt, I don't know if you're hopping in halfway through a conversation, but we were talking about Mizorowski getting into this game. We knew there was some outrage around the league, and yet Anthony and I were far more interested in watching him pitch the 8th inning than, Miguel and Rodriguez and Morahone and some of the guys before him. So I don't know where you stand on like this being a serious honoring of the greatest players in the game versus balancing that with like who do people actually want to see pitch in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a delicate balance. I think from the player's standpoint, and I know, like, I guess I'll loosely use the Phillies because they seem to have been the most upset and the most critical out of all this. And so, like, it doesn't necessarily apply to them, but broadly speaking, like, players withdraw from the All-Star game whenever they want, and fine, like, that's their prerogative. Like, if they feel, Teoscar Hernandez, like, he chose, I know it's the home run derby, but it's All-Star week festivities type thing. Like, he chose early on, like, hey, I'm just not doing it because of health and stuff like that. And that's understandable. There have been other times where I think guys just withdraw from the All-Star game for personal reasons and, maybe just wanting the rest type thing. So from a player standpoint, you can't necessarily have it both ways. And I know with the Phillies specifically, like, it does seem like there have been conflicting reports, right, as to whether or not spots were offered to some of their guys if they would pitch. And it seemed like, I forgot who specifically, that like they just didn't want to do that. So that becomes a little bit of slippery slope. Broadly speaking, no, I mean, I would rather MLB do what they did with, and I can't say his last name, so I'm going to call him The Miz, even though like it's confusing because there's the wrestler that Anthony and I talked about the last time we were doing this. That's fine. Like, I'd rather see that than, and I've always been against this idea that every team needs to have a representative, because I will die on the hill that a Colorado Rockies fan is not tuning in tonight because the Goodwin, whatever, I apologize his last, because he's in the All-Star.
Show some respect to the
I do
Rockies,
apologize,
Matt.
I do. Well, no, I don't apologize for that. But like that, you get my drift, right? Like
whether it's
Goodman, yes. Whether it's the Rockies, whether it's the Marlins, like they're not. I don't think that they're really tuning in for their one backup catcher or relief pitcher. It's my opinion. So in that case, like, fine, like put the exciting guys, put the talent in there, and then let's go.
I will say, I remember the lean years of the Dodgers where we were just getting the minimum of one representative. And I was a kid, so I was far more interested in the All-Star game as a kid. Right. But I did like seeing the one Dodger out there. I think my feelings might have been hurt as a 9-year-old if
you were probably watching the All-Star game in some capacity either way, right? Like, there were other stars that were there. Like, maybe you stay tuned in a little bit longer because you're waiting for Jason Repko to come off the NL bench.
God, my Repko is my guy. Never an All-Star, probably didn't deserve it, but oh my gosh, did I love Jason Repko. You're speaking my language now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, it's a complex situation. I think this was an extreme. I mean, we saw it last year with Paul Skeens, right? Like, he had made what, like 11 starts or something, 11, a low number before he and he made not only made the All-Star game, but he started it then. So like, I know the Miz is a much more extreme case because it's been 6 starts or whatever it is, 5 starts. Yeah. But hey, one of them was against the Dodgers. So, maybe they put him on the map.
I'm going back through some of these years. You can look up like Dodgers All-Stars by year. A lot. There are a lot of single All-Star seasons for the Dodgers. Piazza was by himself in 94 and 97. Sheffield by himself in 99. 2008, Russell Martin, the lone representative. That's probably the weakest year. Like, Russell Martin had some good years, don't get me wrong, but that might have been okay, we need a Dodger. At least we don't have like the one year that it's like some middle reliever. That's one thing I think as Dodgers fans we can stand proudly on, that we don't have the one year where it's like, do we have a middle reliever with an ERA that starts with a 3? Because that guy needs to be an all-star in this one. So let's talk Dodgers. There were a bunch of Dodgers involved in this one. Shohei Ohtani scores the game's first run, the go-ahead run. He's definitely the hero of this game. Freddie Freeman, 0 for 1. Will Smith, 0 for 2. Will Smith, by the way, incredible game calling. I mean, I know how much we value on this show a catcher's ability to call balls and strikes. Unbelievable stuff tonight. And of course, the main event, Clayton Kershaw, 2/3 of an inning. We're going to get into mic'd up because I know that's going to be a contentious topic on this show. But Anthony, as a Dodgers fan, we got to see Kershaw. We got to see the 3 starters. Yamamoto was there, honored beforehand. Pretty cool night all around, I would say, for a Dodgers fan.
Yeah, I think so. It was nice to see Shohei produce a little bit for the guys that were in the lineup. That was nice. He just missed that home run. That was foul. That would have been a cool moment. He absolutely spiked that thing. But yeah, Kershaw I think for Dodger fans was certainly the coolest moment. He really embraced the mic, which he's like the last guy you would think on the roster would want to do that or would embrace it the way he did. It's a completely ridiculous idea to talk to the starting pitcher and the catcher. They were talking to Scooble, and the dude was mid-delivery.
Yeah. Well, he just didn't play along.
Like, come on, guys. Like, it was it was pissing me off, in all honesty. Like, if you want to do this thing, like, do it with the guy who isn't having to focus that much. This is extreme. I get it, and I'm being kind of a jerk, but what if they're doing that and his focus isn't completely there? They're facing the best hitters in the world on the other side, and the guy hits a P back at him. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want that guy being distracted in that situation. So it's again, that's an extreme example, but like, it's just dumb to do that. I think like the guy sitting there about to start his windup and he's still asking a question. With that said, Kershaw embraced it in such a perfect way that he didn't let those guys get a word in edgewise for the most part. He did all the talk. He was the Jordan Spieth of like the commentary on that end and was like, here's what's coming next. I'm going to throw the cheese, like all of that kind of stuff. Like he did it like that would be the model example, I thought. And from a guy like him, you didn't expect it. So I think it made it a little bit better. And also I think like the fact that he was into it, it seemed like he was into it, because most of the time you get these guys on there and they're like, they're not into it. They're doing it because they have to.
They get that. That's what I was going to say, though. Like, they do have the ability to say no. Like, they're getting paid extra money to sign up for this. It's like 10 grand, whatever.
Well, yeah, because if they got offered zero, nobody would do it.
But I mean, like, so that's my thing, Matt, like about this topic is we talked about some of these weird financial pieces of the All-Star Game and All-Star Weekend. And look, Scooble and Cal Raleigh wanted nothing to do with it, which, like, again, I'm not going to blame a guy for not wanting anything to do with it, but I do believe they have the ability. Like, Skeens was not mic'd up in the first inning. I think they have the ability to say no to this. And so I think when Kershaw came out, because I agreed with Anthony, that was rough. And I think it's because of the mic'd up thing. And I also think because Scooble was not being a good sport about it. And I'm not even saying he should have been, but Kershaw was a good sport
about it. Got on against him, and it was like, okay, scrap this. Like, I'm trying to.
But I mean, Kershaw was a good sport. Like, Kershaw, I think, showed people what was capable, what was possible. They've done this before where guys have been making jokes about like, hey, this is what I'm about to throw, or what do you think I should throw? So I understand like the Scooble one was bad, but I think Kershaw, to me, Matt, showed why this mic'd up experience is actually worth pursuing.
I think, though, that there's a big difference between the two situations that Scooble and Kershaw are in.
100%.
And that for me sort of dictate, like, whether Kershaw was at he's close to the end of his career, right? Whether it's this season, next season, whatever it is, like he's on the doorstep. Sure. So there's that factor. Then there's also the reality of Scooble is facing the top of the lineup. Like, these guys, like, not that I know that it is an exhibition, but there is some like pride and competitiveness that these guys all have. And he said going into this start, like that they asked him, what batter are you most looking forward to facing? And he said, well, like, I hope that I don't get past the first 3. Like, I want to retire the side in order. And then he said, I guess basically Ohtani, like, kind of by default was who he picked. And then to Anthony's point, like, then the guy, like the first 2 guys, like, they get on base and it's like all of a sudden, well, wait a minute, like, I wondered if the inning had completely spiraled on him. Like, would he have just like ripped the microphone off and like thrown it on the floor or something and said like, I'm not doing this anymore. I need to finish this inning.
Yeah.
I think the broadcast, and it's ironic because I know that they didn't necessarily prove it by Anthony's point of saying like they lacked feel by talking to Scooble as he's going into his delivery. I think they would have had some sort of feel of, okay, like, let's stop talking to him, like let him get out of this inning type thing. Then the flip side is like, you can't necessarily talk to the catcher a whole ton because what are you going to say? Like, hey, what pitch are you calling right now? Like, he can't answer you because the batter is potentially going to hear that, right? So it was somewhat limited in that sense of having it. Like, I think the idea was better than the execution, and for those, like, for that first inning, like, it probably could have happened maybe middle of an inning. Like, maybe you just decide, have it kind of floating of, hey, we have this pitcher and catcher, we want to do it with you guys. You know, if the game is sort of out of hand or it's not a tense situation, we can do it in the third inning. And like, that would have been fine. I think that gets a little bit harder with logistics because you don't necessarily know pitching plans, although it was very clear, like, the starters are going one inning, Kershaw was going the two batters. So I think you could have figured it out. I am anti-mic'd up for the regular, like everybody know, like, I've been on here and I always, you know, rail against it. For an All-Star game, I think it's fine. That being said, I don't know if Skubal in the first inning facing Ohtani, Acuna, and who was it? Freddie, who was batting third?
Freddie batted fourth.
Marte, maybe? I forgot who was third.
Marte was third.
Like, I just don't know if that's the time. And that being said, we were fortunate. Like, the Kershaw thing was great, and I know we'll dive into that a little bit more and just kind of his evolution, if you will. And then the Jacob Wilson stuff with his dad, like, that was cool too.
PCA was awesome.
That was fun. Yeah. So I think in an All-Star game, there is room for this. I think you just need to sort of pick and choose. Like I said, it was the right intention, the right idea, just wrong timing for Skubal.
I just don't like giving it to the guy on the mound.
But he said yes. Like, he said yes to this.
Well, I wonder if some beyond like the paid factor, I do wonder if there was a little bit of pressure from the league, because this was the first time that I can remember them doing the pitcher and catcher at the same time.
I don't think they've ever done that. Yeah, and sure, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, sorry, man. Yeah, they can say no. Sure, yeah, yes, they say yes, but like, I'm not mad at them for saying yes. I'm mad at the league for making the offer to the pitcher and catcher. Like, those are just two positions that I don't think Kershaw saved it.
Yeah.
Like, the other guys, there were some other good guys, but those are the position players. If you did this with pitchers all night, you're running the risk of Kershaw being the only one who gives you anything. And I think part of this too was the way Kershaw embraced his role in this thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think the competitor in him is still going to be there, but I don't think he cared if he really gave up a run, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it was I don't think he was taking this in that way, the way Skubal might have been. And so it made it easier for him to be able to play with it like that, the way he did. Yeah.
And again, I agree with you that I thought the feel of how they dealt with the Skubal situation was bad, but like, I just think Skubal was not like and he was struggling, bloop single, infield single, like way late double down the line. Like, he was getting screwed. So I understand why he was frustrated. To me, I was just like, he was not playing along at all. And so if you're Joe Davis, you're trying your best. And then you get Kershaw, who, to your point, was more than playing along. He was running the show. Hey, Smoltz, what do you want me to throw? Cutter? I don't throw a cutter, you know? Like, all of that stuff I thought was awesome. And again, I think it just shows the potential for these moments, because I'm with you, Matt. Like, I think the All-Star game, we're saying this is meant to be entertainment. This is meant to be building the brand. And like, should Clayton Kershaw has more flexibility? Does he care? No, probably not. Is anybody going to remember that Tarik Skubal gave up 3 runs in this game? No, nobody's ever 2 runs. Nobody's going to remember that.
Skubal will, and he might be. Yeah, he might be pissed that he did that. And like, I think part of it was that, like, because he started out okay, like he wasn't terrible. He was sort of what you would expect, and then he just shut it down. And that was after guys had gone on base, and after Joe Davis wouldn't stop talking during his delivery, or, his kind of wind up. And it was just like, at a certain point, that as the guy throwing the ball, that's got to be a little irritating.
I just think, as I'm watching the All-Star game to be entertained, and that is access that literally we have no ability to ever get in any other space. And if we're going to say we definitely can't do it during regular season games or whatever, like, this is the time to do it. And so, again, agree to disagree on the placement of it with Skubal and whether or not it was his fault or Joe Davis's fault, whether or not he was pressured to do it or not. But I do think on the bigger picture, as this game went on, Kershaw mic'd up was amazing. Jake Wilson and his dad mic'd up was amazing. PCA, great answers, like, great stuff. I loved his answer when they were like, what would you tell the kids that want to be like you? He's like, no, be yourself. Like, that was just an incredible answer. And if you're a 10-year-old kid watching and getting to hear that from PCA, you're like, a 10-year-old kid's not watching the post-game press conference. The only time they're ever hearing from their favorite players is in moments like this. And so I just thought those individual moments, I even thought Dave Roberts and Aaron Boone going back and forth was like a cool moment. Not that there was anything super interesting.
That one felt a little dry, like forced it, I guess maybe it's for lack
They're
of a
less
better
interesting, right? They're less two people that the average person is way less interested in hearing from.
Like the PCA stuff, like that was all really good. And so give it to those guys who are playing the field that way, because again, the chances you get a Kershaw are a lot slimmer if you go to pitchers versus guys who are playing the field. Kershaw saved them, because if Kershaw was normal Kershaw, who we'd expected, I think, Jeff, your take on the pitchers having the mic might be a little different.
They've done this before. I'd have to go back and look, but I definitely remember pitchers being mic'd up. And
it wasn't good. We don't even remember it. We're going to remember the Kershaw thing.
Well, I'm telling you, I remember it because they were talking about what pitch they should throw. And it was a similar conversation with Smoltz of like, hey, what pitch should I be throwing here? What do you think about this? That kind of thing. I'm blanking on who it was. That says more about my memory.
My point is, you're a lot more likely, when you do a pitcher, you're a lot more likely to get what Screwball gave you than you are to get what Kershaw gave you.
And the easy way to settle this, guys, is if you want a pitcher to do it, just put a mic on him in the dugout. Once he's done in the game, the dugout's relaxed. It's not a regular season game. And so you'll get, you won't necessarily get I'm going to throw this pitch right now, but I think you could still get some fun stuff if he's going up to teammates, or if teammates know that he's on and then they come up to him. Also, for the record, I am okay with players and teams being mic'd up during the regular season, as long as it's just not the Dodgers.
Got it. By the way, it was Alek Manoah was the guy that was mic'd up back in 2000.
Oh, yeah. Who could forget that?
Look, go back and watch the video, because I guarantee you'll remember it.
I guarantee you, even if I loved it, I would not have remembered it, because I don't even know who that guy is.
And you don't know who Alek Manoah is?
He's Blue Jay. Was it Blue Jays?
Yeah, he was really good.
I mean,
for how many seasons?
One, yeah, I think like one or two, maybe.
I mean, I'm not saying he was like the greatest all-star of all time, but it's not like I'm talking about when you were a 10-year-old here, Anthony.
Is he Will Smith good?
Will Smith's the man. Personality-wise, he has more personality than Will Smith. I'll give you that.
I mean, that's all due respect to Will Smith. That's a low. Will Smith is not interested in the media aspect, so that's a low bar to clear.
Manoah was 2021 and 2022 were his seasons, and then he fell off the map after that. So there you go.
Yeah,
that's why Anthony doesn't know who he is.
Go seriously. Like I'm okay. Whatever. You've dug in your heels and you're not willing to listen on this one. The mic'd up of Alek Manoah in 2022 was awesome. I guarantee it. You'll watch it. You'll be entertained. You'll never admit it.
But you couldn't even remember the guy who it was. You just remember.
I have a terrible memory.
Okay.
I don't remember anything. Go ahead.
As we're going back and forth about this, the American League has made it a one-run game.
Yeah, they've got the tying run on second base.
Yeah,
but now third base with 2 outs.
As long as it's not a Dodger giving it up, I don't care.
Edwin Diaz versus Stephen Kwan with Bobby Witt Jr. on third is currently how this is playing out. It's a 1-2 count for those that are curious. So there you go.
Well, maybe the chat will tell us once it goes final.
Chat can let us know.
But a Dodger can't win it and a Dodger can't blow it, so I'm fine.
Well, can we give Kershaw the win? The first guy didn't go 5 innings. They get to choose. Kershaw could get the win here. Who would you give it to?
No, they're going to give it to the Miz.
Who cares?
It's a conspiracy theory. It's all an inside job. The Miz is getting it. He was planted there in the All-Star game. Go. He pitched tonight. He's going
to piss off the Phillies more.
Yeah. Exactly. Trey Turner more angry. Trey Turner counts. Speaking of the Kershaw thing, just to put this, Kershaw was asked about this afterward. Matt, this is a tweet that you sent out. He said, quote, "I'm getting blown up by former teammates saying, wow, you've changed so much. They're right. I don't think I would have ever done that. It was actually kind of fun. Never could do it in a regular season game, but for a few batters, it was pretty fun." So that was Clayton Kershaw's comments afterwards. And we had Andy McCullough on the show, and he kind of talked about, like, there's a lot of things that Kershaw is doing differently now. And he would say that the shift happened after 2020 when they won the World Series, and that monkey was off his back, and it felt like he could open up a little bit more. I think that has progressively gotten more and more true as he won a second World Series and as he got to 3,000 strikeouts and as he's potentially / likely in his final year of playing in Major League Baseball. Like it does seem like he's a different guy. And so again, the access that we have on a video like this, and for Kershaw to kind of accept it and embrace it, Anthony. This is a new side of a guy that it wasn't like he was a non-personality, and I wouldn't even say he was like abnormally guarded. I would say he was just like the average Major League Baseball player. And again, I'm not in the locker rooms. You guys were in there. He just seemed like, I think most baseball players, we don't know a ton about them. And so is that their fault? Is that baseball's fault? But to get to know more and more of Kershaw's personality like tonight, I think is a win for baseball and for us as fans.
Yeah, I covered him for 8.
The game is tied, by the way. RBI double for Stephen Kwan on a 2-strike pitch.
The NL is never going to win it.
Infield single, Infield single, but he's now on second.
Vesia snubbed. Yeah. I covered Kershaw for the better part of the first 10 years of his career. And I wouldn't say he was guarded. I think you're right, Jeff. It wasn't that. He was very Will Smith-like, though. He had no interest in talking to us. He only, he was here so he don't get fined. That was Kershaw essentially. He didn't give you a whole lot. He gave you the answer to the question you asked, and that was about that. And so you can really see the metamorphosis, I think, in his personality now starting to come out a lot more. The Kershaw I think we've all known for years was the one who initially was like, I don't want that spot. Like, don't give it to me as a quote unquote legend. The new Kershaw is the one who went, actually, this could be pretty cool. And then going to Atlanta and embracing all that came with it. That is amazing to see in a guy that we all grew up watching and loving as a Dodger. So, to see that part of him and to see more of that personality, I think for him is cool. What you saw tonight, I think for a lot of casual baseball fans who don't follow the Dodgers on a day-to-day basis, this is the most they've ever gotten out of Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, absolutely. The National League is out of the inning, by the way. So, Matt, do you think this game ends in a tie?
Is that what? Do they only?
I don't even know. That was the Bud Selig where he just famously said, because that's the thing. It's not like you're saving pitchers for the 10th and 11th inning of these games.
I covered that tie game as an intern.
It's lovely.
Hectic.
Lovely.
I mean, that was pure chaos.
So, somebody tell me who's left in the National League and American League bullpens. Maybe there are guys.
They're gonna have to bring Kike in.
Ohtani hasn't pitched tonight yet.
Jeez Louise. Don't even say it.
Oh, God.
To the point that you just made, Anthony, about the legacy pick, I did think it was interesting. Again, this is from the Dodger Blue account. If you're not following Dodger Blue 1958 on Instagram, on Twitter, social media, Facebook, it's the best way to get live real-time updates. But he was asked after, I guess this was during the game, Matt, like sort of, he did like a post-game press conference basically while the game was still going on. Is that
correct? Yeah, it's kind of like spring training during the All-Star game. As these guys are coming out, they're talking.
So he basically said it initially, he didn't want to take anybody's spot. Once he realized that the legend spot was sort of an additional spot, that he wasn't actually taking anybody's spot, he was more interested. He said, once I kind of understood I wasn't taking anybody's spot, that it was just whatever they call legend, whatever. It was a little uncomfortable. Now that I'm done with it, it was awesome. I'm so glad I got to come and share with my family and kiddos and all the stuff. It was a great thing. And, Doc even let me say a couple things during the team meeting, which was awesome. Things I would never volunteer for, but I also realized the opportunity is there. So I don't want to pass that stuff up. So I think all of it was pretty cool. And Matt, we've heard from a lot of the other guys, like Paul Skeens joked that he hopes Clayton Kershaw's not sick of him by the end of the weekend because he just wanted to follow Kershaw around and pick his brain about everything. So it was cool. Even Scooble mentioned, like they had a segment before the game talking about what it's like to share a dugout or a field with a guy that they both looked up to, idolizing. And so I think this is just a cool moment for Kershaw to say yes to and embrace, because I think we got to see a little bit of the impact that he's had on the league and a lot of these younger guys, and how that has happened over years in a way that maybe he didn't realize.
Yeah, I mean, for starters, I don't know if he should have made it as being a legend pick. Like, I think his production and career, that's how this All-Star game goes anyway, right? Like, I think it's sort of like he was pitching well enough this year that I thought he could have just been a regular selection. Maybe it was easier for MLB to just pass it off as, hey, we're going to add you as an extra player. Like, don't worry about it type. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad he got over kind of the initial reservations of, and realizing that, hey, just because you're going as a legend pick, it doesn't mean that you're taking, as he said, a spot from another player who you feel might have been deserving. But yeah, I mean, I think, we saw it a little bit recently with the 3,000 strikeouts and having his family around, both, when it looked like he would potentially do it out in Denver and then back at home, obviously. And just the celebration after and taking the mound out from the dirt, the rubber from the mound, things like that. And now this, I mean, and kind of to the point earlier of seeing Kershaw evolve in his career. I think early on it was very much, I'm saying I'm here as him, basically. Like, I'm here to pitch and win, World Series and try to, do what I can for my career. And I think he got to a point where, obviously, I don't have children, but having children, I hear, like, changes perspectives for you. And I think life experiences also do that. And I think that happened to him. He got a little bit older. Priorities sort of shifted. I think, as Anthony mentioned, winning the World Series in 2020, and then even, I know he wasn't part of it in last year, but still being around for some of that. And I think also realizing, like, for him like the injuries that he's had to overcome, and just to kind of really savor these moments, because you don't necessarily know, like, not only just age and all that and how many years he's been in the league, but just if he were, if he has an injury, like, it could be it for him at this point.
Yeah,
I think that has a lot to do with it. He became mortal fairly quickly. He's still a good pitcher, but he went from Cy Young candidate to sort of old pretty quickly. And I think, him probably assessing, like, his baseball mortality led to some of this. Like, it's similar to Kobe, where, like, you have the whole Mamba mentality stuff, but then there are guys on those final teams, like Jordan Clarkson has talked about this a bunch, where, like, he'll be on a podcast with somebody who knew Kobe when he was Kobe. And they'll go, oh, that Mamba mentality, and the guy who was, making teammates cry in practice. And then those guys on that team are like, we never knew that guy. And by the time we got him, he was, like, joking around, and, and it feels like, while Kershaw might not exactly be that, he's more toward that way than he had been ever.
Yeah, I will say still, though, don't catch it if he starts and doesn't necessarily pitch to his standards. You don't want to be in the clubhouse for that post-game interview. Like, it's still the old Kershaw, if you will, comes out in those cases.
Yeah. By the way, it really will be a home run derby if this game is tied after 9 innings. That is how this is going. I don't know the format of that, or, like, who gets to compete. Does it have to be a guy who's still in the game? Is it multiple guys versus multiple guys? But there is currently 2 strikes and 2 outs in the 9th, and then we will be headed to a home run derby. So should be fun. Do you guys, I saw somebody on Twitter just sent this out. Anthony, do you agree that Major League Baseball has the best All-Star game? I mean, football doesn't even belong in this conversation. I can't stand the NBA All-Star game personally. I'm more of a baseball fan than an NBA guy. So hockey, not necessarily my jam, but you're more of an NBA guy, Anthony. How do you think baseball's All-Star game compares to the NBA's?
Yeah, I agree. It's the best. I agree with whatever you saw, but the bar is real low.
Yeah, agreed.
The NBA All-Star game is atrocious. The NFL just, obviously decided to just do away with theirs. It was so bad. And hockey's is actually okay, but, like, for obvious reasons, guys aren't going hard in that thing. And so it's just like, okay, it's fine. So I think when you're comparing it to those things, yes, baseball has the best All-Star game. But I don't think it necessarily makes it great, if that makes sense. It's not great, but it's the best of what we see.
Matt, when it comes to All-Star activities, like, is baseball, obviously you're covering this stuff for the website, but you're also a baseball fan. Like, would you be watching this, or would you view this as, like, okay, I get a few days, there's a few days off from every night of being a Dodger fan and watching the game? Or is the All-Star game sort of a, like, hey, I've got an appointment viewing sort of thing?
The home run derby typically, I mean, it's hard. Like, I've been doing this for so long now that it's hard to, like, think back to when I wasn't. But the home run derby typically was what I definitely wanted to watch. And then with the All-Star game, it was like, okay, I'll watch the first maybe 3 or 4 innings, because then at that point, after that, like, a lot of the big pitchers, a lot of the big position players, like, they're out of the game, whether it's Dodgers or otherwise. And so then, like, if, at that point I'm younger. So, but, like, if I needed, was going to go do something else or just watch something else, then I would.
When you get to the Toronto Blue Jay guy who's mic'd up, I'm out already. Like, seriously, like, yeah, it's as a joke, but I'm kind of with you, Matt. Like, first 3 innings or so, get some of the stars. Like, I had turned tonight's off. Like, I was following it on social, and then that's how I knew The Miz was coming in, and I was like, I'm gonna turn this back on. So that made me tune back in. The Derby was sort of the same for me. Like, I'll watch the first few guys, and it's like, okay, the coverage last night of the Derby was absolutely awful. So it was like hard to even watch if I wanted to. And there was a lot of people last night comparing the home run derby now to like what the slam dunk contest has been. I don't know if it's quite that bad, but it's
I'm the weirdo on this one. I'm the guy that still tunes into the slam dunk contest every single year.
I still watch it. I get let down a little bit, but I still have there has not been a year where I've skipped it.
I'm with you, Jeff. Like I might still watch the dunk contest if I know like one of the guys who's in it. But I understand the sentiment, I guess, that those things, but like the home run derby shouldn't be longer than the game.
Yeah. I was like, when I knew obviously we had this show planned and we were going to talk about the derby and kind of all-star stuff. I did think that as the derby was happening last night, it was like, I don't know if this needs to be a 3-hour event type thing. Like it I don't know. I wonder. And I mean, I don't know if we want to completely transition into a derby talk here at this point, but I do wonder if there needs to be some sort of change in rules. Like I know they're only 2 years now into kind of the current format and stuff like that. I do think that going away from the bracket was positive because you better guarantee like the best like hitters face each other, right? Like you don't have 2 Titans and one hits 29, the other hits 28, and it's like, oh, now you're out and you're facing somebody who just hit 50. You're facing a all due respect, as Daniel Starkin would say, Jazz Chisholm Jr. and the semifinals or something crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I do agree with you, Anthony. Like, I don't know if the derby needs to be like as long timing wise as it's gotten to.
So the way this is going to work, each side is going to pick 3 contestants. They get 3 swings. You alternate one, then the other, and the team with the most home runs wins. The American League has announced they're going to be sending Rooker, a Rosarena, and a Ronda up there. The National League is going to be sending, shout out to the Miami Marlins, Kyle Stowers is going to be leading off, followed by Kyle Schwarber, and then Pete Alonso. So I feel like the National League, I mean, Schwarber and Alonso alone, Rooker's nice for the American League, but a Rosarena, I guess, it's going to be, I mean, it's kind of cool because I wondered as this was getting set up, like, this might be the chance you see dudes who would never do the Derby. Now, like, a Rosarena has done the Derby. Alonso has won the Derby multiple times. So this should be fun. I mean, I'm into this.
I'm cool with this. Yeah, I don't mind this as the ending for an All-Star game. I'm also the guy who, like, after an overtime period in soccer, I'm into the PKs. Let's make this happen. So I'm okay with this. I like it.
Yeah, Matt, don't worry. It'll be at least a couple of weeks before we do. Should we just abandon the ghost runner and extra innings altogether and just end regular season games this way, right?
I hope not. But I mean, I wonder, Dave Roberts couldn't have sent a text to Ohtani and said, hey, put on your New Balance warm-up and your pants. We need a couple swings from you.
I'm not watching the game, but I imagine he gone.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had it over to the side, and as this thing was ending, they cut to Dave, and I'm sure it was irrelevant, but he just had this like awful look on his face, and part of me was like, now it sucks to be the manager because you've got to go ask some dudes to do this, and I'm sure the players are fine with it, but there's coaches or GMs somewhere out there like, hell no, Kyle Schwarber, we do not want him in the Derby, or we do not, fill in the blank. So I imagine it's one of those things where as the manager, you don't want to be the guy that's having to make these decisions, either putting like coaches in positions they don't want their players put into, or having to say other guys no. Like, I wonder who on the National League roster was like, oh, he's definitely going to call my name. And then it was like, hey,
who was the first one you mentioned? He definitely knew.
Well, Dave made it seem like he might have been finding out in real time that he was in the Derby because they had Burkhart interviewing Boone and Roberts, and on live TV, they kind of announced it's going to be this guy, and this guy. And so he's like, I think Kyle Stowers is just finding out now that he's going to be in the home run derby, followed by Schwarber and Alonso.
I don't know if he's even around, but one of the Braves beat guys just tweeted out that the crowd booed when they announced the lineup because Matt Olson's not in it. So that might have been a miss on Dave's part.
Well, they also hate Alonso. They've been booing Alonso all night. So there you go. I guess it is pretty funny that did he pick 3 NL East guys in the Braves park? I mean, not that they view the Marlins as a rival, but I'm sure they don't like the Phillies.
Those might be his best power hitters still in the building.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is interesting that Olsen, there you go. The admin saying Suarez was supposed to be instead of Stowers, but they changed it. And I think they pronounced it Stowers. So if it's supposed to be Stowers, somebody just tell me. I'm not entirely positive about that. But it's cool to see Rooker and Alonso, 2 guys who actually hit home runs in the game, get a chance to compete in this. So there we go.
The NL, and can I just point out that the National League would have won already if it wasn't for Padres and Giants relief pitchers just
or your boy, the catcher from Colorado throwing the ball into center field, although that might not have mattered.
Probably didn't.
Okay. Rooker, Stowers. Okay. As in Towers, I'm being told. So there you go. First swing, no home runs for Brent Rooker. We'll try and keep you updated on this. Freddie Freeman, his reception in Atlanta, Matt. He and Kershaw both got kind of like curtain calls, if you will. Kershaw for being a legend and Freddie Freeman for being an Atlanta guy. What did you think about that moment?
I think it was cool. I mean, at first, part of me wondered why Dave only had Kershaw face 2 batters. I think I think one helped, like just a health factor, like they're not going to push things with him. I think 2, to get him kind of that sort of recognition from the fans there, even though it is Atlanta and they've had some postseason history with the Dodgers somewhat recently. And the Freddie one, the same thing. I mean, that was like that, made a bunch of sense to get him out kind of during the game so that he could get, the standing ovation. I know that they showed like people standing up and some cheering for Freeman when lineups were announced, but it wasn't like, maybe they just didn't capture it. I thought for sure that would be when like he got a full standing ovation too from the stadium. So at least like it was nice to see him get it on his way out. I know that means a lot to Freddie and being back. I mean, he was asked about it every, leading up to the All-Star game. Then this week when they were doing, anytime there was media availability, anytime he appeared on MLB Network and things like that, like he was constantly asked about being back in Atlanta, and it meant a lot to him and his family. So that's good. And now, I mean, all of that being said, now it's time to kind of put that to bed. Hopefully he's healthy and comes out of his slump. He couldn't even get a hit in the All-Star game tonight. He's still searching.
Yeah. Rooker, by the way, hit 2 home runs on 3 swings. So a nice little start for the American League. But it is cool if you're not watching. Both, like the whole American League team was out of the dugout watching this thing like it's the regular home run derby. So
this actually we were talking home run derby. Either of you have strong opinions on the measurements and how that went last night, and that they didn't do a swing off?
I saw some nerds talking about like the standard deviation and like the level of accuracy, and basically saying that there's no way the technology they have is like accurate enough. And to say like person made the point, like it's possible that Raleigh beat him by 2 feet and not by 6 inches. But somebody suggested, hey, if it's within a couple of feet, then like you should probably do it. I don't know, swing off
out another way. Yeah.
So,
I mean, in that situation, I agree, because the winner, who like if the guy goes on to eventually win, that's a mill. And the guy, like if a guy doesn't make it out of that round, it's 150K. Which, a lot of money, but like that's a big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah, Dino Ebel pitching batting practice right now for the National League, by the way. Stowers just his second swing, he got one out. So has a chance to tie things up on the American League here. And Alonso versus Aranda, that's where we need to get to. Oh, he popped this one up. Infield fly.
So is it over then? Like you have to keep like you
total it up. So it's 2-1 American League after the first round, and now we go into round 2 and round 3. And who the heck knows what's happening from there. But it is cool. Again, if you get a chance to see the video, like all the players are out. Dave Roberts, they just showed doing a nice little fist pump when Stowers got one out. So guys seem pretty excited about this.
I forgot. Do either one of you remember? I know, was it during the regular season that Justin Turner pitched a home run derby, like instead of playing 50? Like I don't know if it was around COVID or if it was for the All-Star games. I'd have to check our articles.
It was during the COVID season.
Okay, and he brought up
it was after 10 innings. Do this what they're doing.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so yeah, I forgot, when did this, was it All-Star get implemented All-Star game like 2 years ago now, 3 years? I forgot that derby.
I forgot. I don't know. Is this the first time it's happened?
Yeah. I had no idea this was a rule. I thought people were joking when they said this is what's going to happen. So crazy. Okay, let's get to some super chats. By the way, as we read these super chats, a reminder that the super chats from Sunday's show and tonight's show, all people with super chats will be entered for a chance to win a copy of Bill Plunkett's Shohei Ohtani book on the 2024 season, his chase for 50-50, as well as obviously the World Series title. So go ahead. If you want to leave a super chat, you'll be entered into that contest for every time that you input one. We've got 3. Let's just start with this one. D Nation says, "Hey guys, love the show. I want the book. Good showing for the Dodgers tonight in general. Can't wait for Friday." And then Tom, this was back with the mic'd up, said they did this in 2022 at Dodger Stadium with Nestor and Trevino. They were talking to each other. Pretty sure the league was hoping for that. So that was another example of the Yankees battery talking to each other.
I'm pretty sure Tom is the only person that remembered that as from
my memory being refreshed.
I was at the ballpark for that one, so I didn't get to see.
Arozarena hit a ball a million miles, I think, but went 1 for 3. So 3-1 American League going in. Carlos has a question for us. And by the way, if you've got any questions, start throwing those in the chat, all caps questions, because we're going to close out the show by answering some of those. But he says, when trade rumors state that a Dodger player is linked to a trade, how is the link made? What criteria is used to link a player to a trade rumor? Anthony, I'll let you take first crack at this.
Yeah, I can do this one. A lot of experience here. The link is very loose. It's very loose. So if it's like, say you're in the media dining area before a game starts and you're talking to a scout, and the scout tells you, I've talked to scouts for the Boston Red Sox, and they said that their front office has talked to the Dodgers about Alex Bregman. Probably true, especially if you trust that guy, that's fine. But the talk might be like the Red Sox front office texting Friedman and Gomes and saying, "Hey, you guys have any interest in Alex Bregman if we were to put him up?" Or vice versa, saying, "Hey, if you guys have any interest in putting Bregman up, let us know." That's technically a link. So it can be as loose as that, and it could be as solid as like, I know both these teams are in discussions about player X. So those reports and those rumors, especially at this time, are typically pretty loose, and like, if they're coming from like agents, especially, they're trying to drum up interest in their guy.
Yeah. My guess was going to be that it comes from a lot of different ways. And you listed the most credible journalistic ways that a link can be made. But I think there's also like, hey, maybe it's an agent, maybe it's a GM that's like, hey, we want this out there. Float this. So Schwarber just went 3 for 3 for the National League, baby. So we're back in it, boys. We're back in it. Wow. Schwarbs, 1 to dead center, 1 to right center, and then from his knee, hooked one around the pole into right. So 4-3 National League. Jonathan Aranda beating Pete Alonso by more than 1 home run in round 3 of this might be one of the greatest sports upsets in history if the National League loses this. So there you go. But yeah, so again, just to go back to that question briefly, is like, I imagine it's hearing from team sources, obviously, or it's, hey, we if we're the White Sox, we want people to believe that the Dodgers are interested in Luis Robert Jr. Like, or the agent is like, hey, we need you to drum some stuff up to make him believe that there's 8 teams, I think was the report, that have called on Luis Robert Jr. But again, called on, what does called on even mean? Like, hey, what are you looking for? Okay, cool. We're not really that interested, but if the price was $0, we were interested, like calling on could mean a whole range of things. So that was a great answer there, Anthony. So I appreciate that. Sign stealing scandal asks, if Roki gets healthy and spends the rest of the year in AAA, would the Dodgers maintain an extra year of control in terms of service time? I actually don't know the answer to this question.
I think he spent too much time on a major league roster.
Okay. Because I know there's like, what is it? Super 2? Is that what it's called when a guy has 4 years of arbitration?
Yeah. And that typically works the other way versus sending a guy down. It's that happens more typically in bringing a guy up later.
Okay.
But like, so I forget the number of days, but to give you a perspective on it, if you're trying to create that extra year of control like the Cubs did with Chris Bryant, for example. Guys clearly ready for big league baseball. And they bring him in like in May.
Yeah.
So not even 2 months into the season. Roki, and then he stays the rest of the time, then he doesn't qualify. So in Roki's case, I think he's going to spend too much time on the major league roster to not qualify as a year of service time, I should say.
What will be interesting is I don't believe he will have qualified for like rookie of the year. Like, I think he's still under the threshold where I believe he could start next season still qualifying as a rookie, in which case the Dodgers could still be eligible for like whatever the bonuses are because he would be a top 100 prospect. So I forget what the exact thresholds are, but I can't imagine he's pitched enough already this season.
Well, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody knows this, but I don't think it's innings pitched. I think it's days spent on the
service.
roster.
I think it's service time.
Service time, yeah.
Okay. And that's right. So if he's on a major league injured list, then he is accruing service time. So
correct. And you can't be sent down on the IL. So all those days are counting.
Aranda just went 0 for 3. National League wins the All-Star game. Pete Alonso doesn't even need to swing his bat. So Kyle Schwarber carries the team to victory. Look at us, guys. The National League, first time in, I don't even know when the last time the National League won.
Well, they won
Atlanta.
I think 2 years ago, they finally snapped the losing streak, and then the AL won again last year. But it's like their second win in like the last 12 or 14 or something crazy.
I'm going to be honest. I'm all in on the home run derby to end this thing. That was like, I wasn't totally engaged. I had it off on the screen to the side, but it's incredible. Like, screw this. Why don't I don't find a way to make the All-Star game tied at the end of the game every single year, please, or make
I'm seeing a lot of positive sentiment for this thing on my timeline, including from like people I know who are casual baseball fans or like people involved in other sports who are coming in to see this. So it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Kyle Schwarber, MVP. I saw somebody in the chat. Player Schwarber gets MVP. He probably deserves it. Like after
you go 3 for 3 to win it. Yeah.
To win. Exactly. Shout out to him. Hallelujah. How good was it seeing the ABS in action? They can't implement it soon enough. Look, we all know I'm on the cutting edge of these types of things. Matt is what's the alternative? What's the other side called? If I'm on the cutting edge, what are you
human
on?
element, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, look, I still do fall in that camp, and I'm in a group with Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal, so there are worse people to be associated with. That being said, I have also been very open and have admitted that umpiring this season has been especially bad. I still stand by my preference would be I'm skeptical as to like I don't want to call it punishment, but like repercussions and stuff like evaluation, like that whole process. So I would like maybe for some transparency there and seeing and finding out that no, like an umpire can't just blow a bunch of calls in a game and then be a crew chief, a week later type thing. But considering like that's not going to happen, obviously ABS. I mean, Manfred has made it pretty clear recent. I know at first he tried to play it off as like, yeah, maybe 2027. Now it's full go for 2026. I think the All-Star game getting it is another sign of that.
Yeah,
It's quick. It's pretty quick, so that's helpful. It will be interesting to see kind of how umpires react to basically their calls getting corrected on a regular basis. I mean, because we're seeing it in the All-Star game. We saw it during spring training here and there. There are a lot of baseball games every single night during a regular season. And so how is the umpires and their union going to take to their employees basically getting corrected in front of a lot of eyeballs? What we're going to get it to like 1,000 overturned calls probably in a season. I mean, that's probably a low number.
Yeah. Look, I on one hand, I'm with you, and that would suck. On the other hand, I kind of don't care how that feels for the umpire.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it sucks. Like they're finally going to be held accountable, even if it's not as fully as they can, because we've seen too many years Joe West and Angel Hernandez getting World Series assignments.
Well, yeah, yes.
Well, and
I know those guys are out of the league now, but bad umpires are still getting playoff assignments now.
Well, and I think I would hope that there's at least a segment that is going to get real-time feedback on where their zone is off in the middle of a game. Because if you think about an umpire, they're not going to know until the next day, basically, oh, shoot, my zone was way too wide, or I was positioned in a way and where like the outside corner was off. And so maybe it's actually going to improve umpiring because they're going to get a call overturned at the bottom of the zone, and they're going to be able to make a correction and adjustment mentally to be able to say like, all right, we're going to move this zone a little bit, like, again, most of them are going to take it personally, I think it's going to make them better at the same time.
Two things. It'll be a minority, I think. Sorry, Anthony. I think it'll be a minority for that, like, take it the right way.
They won't take it the right way. Yes, I agree with you. But I do think they will be helped in real, whether they're pissed or not in real time. Like, do you want it to happen again? It's like, do you want the stick? Do you want the stick again? Then I think they'll just
dig. I think the majority of them will dig their heels in.
They'll look pretty dumb.
Two things on this is I think that they get report cards now after games that they do behind the plate.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They know.
But they don't know in real time, I'm saying. Like, this would allow them to find out, hey, I'm off on the left side of the plate. I need to tighten that up.
And that was going to be my second point. So, one, they know now what they're missing and how much they're missing and et cetera, and they don't care because there's no accountability.
Right.
The second thing is that at least tonight, and I don't know if they did this in spring training, Matt, maybe they didn't have, like, the tech in the stadiums were not set up for this, and because I know every stadium didn't even do it, but I want to say tonight, the scoreboard had the zone.
That's how it works.
Like
it
on
showed
the
it to everybody. Yeah,
spring training. It showed it to everyone. So on the Machado overturn, the entire crowd on the scoreboard saw that it was in the bottom of the zone.
Yeah.
And so if they do that in major league stadiums, they're going to see it in real time. Like, okay, yeah, that was, that's where I missed that.
Yeah. And same thing in the minor leagues last year. The PCL had it when I went to Reno to watch some games. And I kind of like that because, again, you get to see it. I mean, the Machado one wasn't even close. Like, it was, the full ball was above the line, and it only has to be touching basically for it to be called a strike. And so, it's crazy stuff. We got the question that we knew we were going to be asked, by the way. Cole wants to know, would you be in favor of ending regular season tie games with the mini derby? Screw the ghost runner. It would also save pitchers' arms. Matt, I've seen one of these. As a Dodgers fan that knows my team would be putting out Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Teoscar Hernandez, or Max Muncy if he's healthy, I'm very in favor of this, Matt.
No, I don't want either one. I don't want the ghost runner. I don't want a home run derby. If a game goes 15 innings, and then instead of playing the 16th, then okay, let's do a home run derby at that point.
Can we do it after the 10th? No, maybe can we move this up?
Not. No,
absolutely. Anthony, are we 0% interested in this? 1%?
I am 25% interested in this after 10 innings. I am 90% interested in this after 14 or 15. Absolutely. Yeah. I am not a fan still of the runner on second. I just don't. I think there's a better way to do this. It might be the home run derby. Like, it's gimmicky as hell, but the crowd engagement on something like that would be so much greater than the runner on second stuff. I think.
I mean, and you mentioned soccer earlier, and I would throw hockey in this bucket as well. A penalty shootout in hockey, PKs in soccer, is like, stop what you're doing and tune in. Yes. And baseball doesn't have any version of that. And so if we're talking about growing the game, if we're talking about entertainment, if we're talking about building personalities, and by the way, like, I do think this actually aligns with some of the priorities of the league on that front, as well as, like, they are going to want to protect pitchers' arms. The ghost runner is already, like, quote unquote, making a mockery of the game, as some people would say. Again, I like the ghost runner because I don't want a 15-inning game in my life. But I think it's crazy to even be talking about this now. And yet, like, I could make a pretty compelling argument, I feel like, for why this would be good for baseball on the whole, Matt.
I'm with you, Jeff. I agree. Yeah.
I think, sure, marketing, like, but to what cost and at what extent? Like, at what point does the game sort of become compromised? And, like,
it's compromised already, with the runner on second.
A little bit. Not as bad, though. At least you're still sort of playing an extra inning. Like, you're having to get the 3 outs still, stuff like that. And also, Jeff, like, think about how unhinged our post-game shows have been when the Dodgers have played 13 or 14 in games. we've come on here and it's been great. Like, it's been good theater. People have wanted to talk about the game still. Like, we should encourage that stuff.
Yeah, they would imagine how unhinged it would be after Shohei Ohtani goes 0 for 3 in his swings. They hit 1 home run in 9 swings. You tell me that wouldn't be better content, Matt?
No, I don't think so. We need the 15 innings.
I do agree with you, Jeff, that I think you make a good point on the shootouts and the PKs of like it being stop what you're doing action, even if you have not even watched that match or that game in its entirety. You see that and you're like, oh, okay, we're essentially in sudden death. Let's see what's going on here. That brings in a different kind of eyeball for sure.
Yeah. I love this. Obi-Wan says, what about if you had real pitching from the opposing pitcher? So it's just one-on-one. I mean, nothing would happen.
Play the game.
Yeah, nothing was happen is the problem. But there you go. We had the super chat from Scarecrow06. Great show as always, fellas. We appreciate that. Let's do a couple more questions and then we'll get out of here. Vivian, do you like that the fans selected stars just got 2 at bats and were not involved in this home run contest? So the idea that the starters in some cases didn't even get 2 at bats. Freddie Freeman got 1. But Anthony, what are your thoughts on the fans picking starters and those guys only being in for a couple at bats and none of the starters being in the home run derby, which I'm assuming was way more about logistics. Those guys had already packed their bags and changed and that kind of thing. So they weren't eligible basically by their own decision.
I think a little bit of a 2-part question here. Like, are you okay with the people the fans selected only getting the 2 at bats? Man, that's a tough one because there are so many other deserving guys who are on the roster that you would like to see them, get their shot. And if you say like, okay, all of those starters are going to get 3 at bats, that could take you into the 7th inning or something like that. And then it's tough to get the other guys in. As far as the home run derby goes, that's the logistic part because I think a lot of those guys they're out of there. Like Tatis, Machado, Kershaw, probably Ohtani. Those guys had already are probably way gone from the stadium by the time that this thing went into extra innings or to the home run derby. Now it would get probably a little bit of an uprising if you told those guys, hey, you got to stay for the whole thing.
Yeah. I just saw this on Twitter, Matt. Rich_Roberts tweeted, the league just stumbled into their new home run derby format. This kicks bleep was the tweet. But do you think, I mean, what if that's what it was? It's like, hey, the 9 guys that get voted in as starters, they each get 3 swings and you just add up American League versus National League at the end. Like it feels like there is something there as a format because the guys seemed interested. If it's only 3 swings, then you're probably like going to be able to keep people engaged. I don't know. There's a lot of like finishing touches that need to be done here.
Yeah. Maybe like 3 rounds of 3 swings, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
There's something interesting there to me, Matt.
No, totally.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Anthony. You're fine.
I was going to say like a little bit to that point and like to the point of like people from other areas of the sports world coming in to baseball for this thing. Rob Perez, Worldwide Wob, who's got a ton of followers from the NBA side and tweets almost strictly about NBA stuff. He said, NBA, you better be watching this All-Star Game tiebreaker home run derby. That was electric. And then he offers one-on-one for the NBA overtime, 1st to 5, wins. Or, so I think other sports are looking at this too and going, oh, we can do this differently. Okay.
Yeah. And it was Justin Turner. Courtney Turner just tweeted, by the way, that Justin Turner suggested that games after 10 innings should be decided by a home run derby. So there you go, Matt. I know you referenced that.
There we go.
That was back in 2020, I think. So kudos to that. And Jesse Rogers also pointing out, for some people wondering, many players had left, including a lot of starters, left as in already on a plane home. So not even in the ballpark to participate in the home run derby for what it's worth. But Matt, what are your thoughts on some version of this taking over as the home run derby, not like deciding games, but changing the format of that?
I think the biggest hurdle will probably be getting these all-stars to buy into basically like you having to do something 2 nights in a row. Because right now it's kind of like, yes, you have some overlap of all-stars who are also in the home run derby. Like majority of them are at this point, but telling basically like entire position players, on both teams, like, hey, we need you guys to do a derby, or like, is it just the reserves maybe since they're not theoretically playing as much, like they're not starting the next day?
Pete Alonso just said that for what this is worth for this discussion, Pete Alonso just told the media that though all those guys were informed before the game that they would be the participants.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So they had picked,
because
it definitely seemed, Dave Roberts said on the broadcast, Kyle Stowers is finding this out in real time, some version of that.
Well, I think because Suarez was the original pick,
Yeah.
but because he got hit, that's why. Yeah.
Got it.
There's also a possibility that somebody else made the choice for the home run derby, and so Dave Roberts was additionally finding out in real time as it was happening. Like they're like, I'm not trying to be like, there is that chance, like he just might not have been who was involved in that process, and so maybe he didn't know. But then Anthony, to your other point too about like other sports watching this kind of all-star game format and what it turned into, like I think though, related to what I just said about needing buy-in from the players, like from the NBA standpoint, like how we complain each year that the stars aren't even doing the all-star dunk competition and the slam dunk competition anymore. I don't know why I call it all-star dunk. So like, I think that's still like, whether it's MLB, NBA, like that's the biggest obstacle of getting the stars to truly buy into, like Aaron Judge could have done the home run derby this year, right? Like, I mean, he's healthy. Like Ohtani had like, fine. Like, I don't want to call it an excuse, but like that's a valid like he's getting used to pitching and all that stuff. Like fine. But like there was a lack of big time stars, and we've seen it definitely on the NBA side. And so I still feel like that's like the biggest hurdle to kind of like for us to watch this and say, oh, they should do this, they should try this, look how fun. Like you still then need the buy-in from the stars, because who's going to watch Jazz Chisholm Jr. in a swing off?
Well,
yeah, for the actual home run derby, yes, that is going to. It's been a problem. It's going to continue to be a problem. Same as All-Star Weekend for the NBA. Yeah. So, but one of those things is the game. You're comparing the game to the home run derby. So, to get guys to do it here, because I think at Major League Baseball, you're going to miss the stars also for the most part, because some of those guys are going to be like, I'm not staying if I start in case this thing is tied.
Yeah. And again, that's why I just wonder if there's a way to format it where the Kyle Schwarbers of the world, who I'm assuming were asked to participate in the home run derby and said no, but said yes to this ask. Like, is there a way? Is there a reason? I would want to know why. Like, why did he say yes to this? Why did Randy Arozarena say yes to this? And, oh, it's only because it's 3 swings? Or maybe it's just, oh, it's to decide a game and it's new and I'll try it. And so maybe there's nothing.
You don't have to be out there for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, again, maybe if it's like, hey, you're not having to like full on practice for this thing, but who knows? Don't Care 187 says, replace the Ghost Runner with the home run off. Way more fun. Yes, I think by the end of, but an hour from now, I think I'm going to be 100% in on the home run derby. We're slowly building our way there.
I will say, like, there's no arguing like which one is more exciting, and better for fan. Like, there is no argument there. It absolutely is, a home run derby, swing out, whatever you want to call it. If you play 9 innings and then you switch to that type of format, like what happens with like all the records from the guys in the like previous year? Like, I just think it gets a little awkward. Or then like you just put a very clear line in record books and Hall of Fame and stuff like that, and it says like starting in 2026 the game was played this way. Like, I think it could just get a little
but I think that happens with a ton of things. It's hard to find medical experts who say that the pitch clock, at least in some way, hasn't been part of why pitchers are getting injured a little bit more.
Unless you're MLB, then you find all sorts of experts to go on record for you and say that's not what's happening.
Very, very true. But you know what I mean? Like, so there's a line of demarcation there too. Like, I mean, there's a line for everything. Like, because we're already doing it with the guys on second.
And that jogs my memory. Actually, I was watching when I was late because I was doing some of the post-game interviews. I watched Scoobles, and I should have brought this up earlier. I completely forgot. He did mention that one thing he felt was kind of hard with the wearing the being mic'd up was still being held to 15 seconds with the pitch clock. He thought maybe like
interesting,
add a little extra time. So sorry, I should have mentioned that earlier. I apologize, guys.
Yeah. Dodger Blue, by the way, on Twitter just tweeted out, Fox is having Derek Jeter, David Ortiz, and Alex Rodriguez pick their World Series winner. Derek Jeter
good.
and
We should cut off. We should stop the show now so we can go watch that.
Jeter and A-Rod picked the Yankees. Ortiz picked the Red Sox.
Oh,
so there you go.
Shocker.
A+ content.
Dave Roberts was asked if he would be for the home run derby rule in regular season games. Oh no, is what he said.
He said, "Oh no,
oh no."
Dave, you almost had me. I might be crafting fire Dave Roberts. We're back, Dave. We're back. All right, let's just do last thoughts. Oh, last thing. This is the last question, and then we'll go. Matt, I'm going to start with you. The kid robbing the home run in the home run derby last night. 2 thumbs up or 2 thumbs down from the Moreno household?
So he said he didn't realize where he was on the field. So
probably true.
So fine, like considering that, like whatever, like it was kind of funny. They did count. I think they did count the home run also. So like, that I think needs to be pointed out. If he did it deliberately, then no, like you don't. That's not what you're there for.
Anthony.
I didn't see it till later. I saw that it had happened on social, and then I saw a little bit later the highlight. It was a great play, but I mean, in all honesty, I didn't care.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Look, it counted, so it was a perfect outcome for everybody involved because the kid got to have his moment. I love that the Seattle Mariners tweeted out a picture of him after Cal Raleigh won. Everything about it was hilarious to me. And look, imagine like I felt like, I'll say this, as a society, we don't typically handle these things super well, in my opinion. Like, I feel like this was handled perfectly by everybody involved. MLB said, you know what? It counts immediately. It counts.
And, well, but I think they counted it only like on a judgment, like basically they ruled that it like he literally robbed him of the home like that. So if he had made a leaping catch and they would have felt like, no, we think that was going to hit the wall. Like, so it wasn't automatic that it counted. So that I think is where
there was there was an umpire right there that like in real time called it a home run. Because they said on the broadcast, like within 3 seconds, hey, it's been ruled a home run. It's been ruled a home run.
Yeah.
But I just think that like that kid to not get murdered by the internet after something like that and to have his face plastered, but like in a positive, joking way. I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was funny and kudos to him. He robbed a home run. Like that's a cool thing. You know, like we all practice like going up and jumping on a short wall and he got to have his moment in a real on Fox or whatever channel it was in. So amazing. Just an update here. Suarez was removed from the Derby due to his finger being injured by the hit by pitch. X-rays were negative, said he's relieved. So good news there.
You know who else is relieved? The Diamondbacks front office.
Exactly. Stockton slaps. Tanner Scott should have pitched the home run swing off. Maybe Dino Ebel. Maybe Dino Ebel's been teaching Tanner Scott, giving him pitching lessons. Some people are saying Dino should have been the MVP for throwing such good batting practice. Matt, you agree?
If not the MVP, he should definitely receive a nice bonus from maybe some of the player pool that they're.
Yeah, there you go. And maybe instead of deciding whether to send guys home or not, maybe no, I won't go there. Never mind.
But speaking of Dino, congratulations to his son. I think Brady was who was drafted. He has 2 kids that I know are both, and I think Brady was. So congratulations to him getting drafted. I think by the Brewers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was.
And he's got another son who's going to be like a big draft pick next year. It sounds.
Yeah,
like.
I think the second son. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so Brady was this draft, and then Trey is his other son. They're at the stadium all the time, like taking BP, taking grounders and stuff with the guys. So it's congratulations to the Ebel family. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And by the way, speaking of the MLB draft, great transition as we close the show out. In the next couple of days, we will be posting an interview with Justin Lorber, who runs FutureDodgers.com. If you're not familiar with him, we did an MLB draft preview. We have an MLB draft recap that will be going up in the next couple of days. And then also
probably tomorrow.
There you go. Yes. And then we'll probably have some more MLB draft talk on Thursday with Bruce Kuntz because he's into that kind of thing as well. So all of the Dodgers content, if you had never heard of Zachary Root before 4 days ago, but you want to be an expert on him by Friday morning, stay tuned to this channel and we will make all your dreams come true. So subscribing the notification bell here. And by the way, this is another thing that we haven't done a great job of promoting, and that's on me, but we're gonna, which is Dodger Blue has an app. If you have a phone that has apps, which is all of you, because you figured out how to watch a live stream on YouTube, which definitely qualifies you for this. Okay. Go to the App Store. I'll pause 8 seconds. Go to the App Store. search Dodger Blue. I think it's just Dodger Blue, or is it Dodger Blue 1958? DodgerBlue.com.
Dodger Blue should bring it up. If you want to be specific, like using our website, DodgerBlue.com will definitely lead you in the right spot.
Please download the app. Please rate and review the app. There you go. Anthony's got it on his phone. I've got it on mine. It's honestly awesome because it is all of DodgerBlue.com, which I mentioned. If you want to go anywhere for the latest news and notes, go ahead and download it. And that's all in that place. Our video stuff is going to be in there as well. And so it's all of DodgerBlue.com, DodgerHeads, everything in one place. It's awesome stuff. And many of you know DodgerHeads is a podcast that is birthed out of DodgerBlue.com. We're all under the same umbrella. I don't know what the right language is there. We're all on the same team. And the guys on the writing side, Matt and Blake and Sebastian and others, do an incredible job. So if you're a Dodgers fan, that's where you should be going for some content. So go ahead and do that. And then the last thing I'll say is stay tuned because we gave away a book on Twitter. We're giving away a book on YouTube, and we've got a Instagram giveaway coming up as well. So Matt, maybe we can do a download the app as part of the Instagram giveaway.
Yeah, maybe.
Well.
Yeah,
but stay tuned on Dodger Blue 1958 on Instagram because that'll be your third and final chance to win a book giveaway. So
yes, and also if you real quick, sorry Jeff, if you did a super chat with us on Sunday or tonight, you were entered in for the book competition. Jeff will announce that winner Thursday night during his show with Bruce. So
yeah,
we'll make sure that he does it kind of maybe in the opening, maybe in the middle, maybe somewhere at the end, so that hopefully, like if you join in late, you'll find out, and then we'll give the winner that was picked a few days to reach out to us, and if not, then we'll pick a new winner.
Love it. And I see lots of people saying done to downloading the app, so we appreciate it. Again, it would be a huge help to us if you would go in after downloading it and rate it, leave a review, let people know about it. That goes a long way. So again, you can find us at DodgerBlue.com, Dodger Blue 1958 on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and also the DodgerHeads podcast, Apple, Spotify, and Google, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find all of that. So thank you, everybody, for hopping in. A fun show, talking about the All-Star Game, getting to watch the home run derby, the swing off, whatever they want to call it, together. I will be back with Bruce on Thursday. We're going to talk draft. We're also going to do a recap of some bold predictions. So holy smokes, have we gotten some runway out of some bold predictions in the first half. Your boy made 10. Some of them are real bad. Some of them sneaky good, though. Sneaky good. We're going to recap all those on Thursday, as well as, maybe I'll say some more crazy things about the second half of the season. Who knows? I can't help myself. We'll see. So we appreciate you. That is Matthew Moreno. That is Anthony Witrado. I am Jeff Spiegel, folks. Enjoy the rest of your night. As always, go Dodgers. And yes, still champs.